There we go. We're decking the halls, fa la la, and we all need to be jolly, fa la la. Well, I know somebody who's going to try and help us navigate the holiday, particularly holiday relationships. Her name is Teddi Ann Berry. She is a practicing attorney, a mediator, and I have to say, first of all, Teddi Ann, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. I do appreciate it. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me this morning, Maggie.
I'd have to say two words: mediation and collaboration. That kind of describes this holiday for some people, doesn't it?
It does. It's navigation, really, if you think about it. Navigating the holidays and all the emotions and different schedules everyone has.
And I would think, for some people, if there's no such thing as a perfect family, I understand. But it's difficult to cope with large groups, with family around the holidays when, it's kind of driven into our heads. You have to be happy. You have to be merry.
Right. Well, and I think that's part of the reason that, the Happy New Year divorce in our January season is so overloaded with people deciding to end marriages or to start life differently, because the holidays do bring people so much stress. And it's stuff that builds up throughout the whole year, and then trying to navigate it with family, with all the emotions, turns out to be really hard, especially for, kids with parents who are separated and divorced.
Is it true that some people will postpone ending their relationship, their marriage, around the holidays simply because, A, they might not want to be alone, or B, they just don't want to do this to the kids?
Absolutely.
What kind of advice do you give them?
Usually by the time they're calling me, there's some families that call and we do divorce planning, like, this is not a good time, let's wait till the summer divorce and get the kids through the school year, or, this day and age with COVID, a lot of parents are trying to relocate, so we have those issues. But really, the calls that we've been getting the last couple of months is, have you explored family counseling? Have you gone to therapists? Have you addressed the financial issues before we address the marriage issues? Because, when you come to divorce, that should be the last door that you're walking through and not the first. So I really try and help families get on a path to saving the marriage and keeping the family together and addressing the other problems, right?
Well, and I would have to think and maybe problems still exist, no matter what the age of the child. But I'm thinking there's an additional stress possibly around the holidays, shared custody, particularly younger children.
Right.
And I'm sure jealousy and all sorts of things come up.
Right. It is, and what I try and encourage families, especially in my mediation settings, or, when I'm counseling my clients on their parenting plans, it really is like, let's take the holidays and not make it about your time or her time, but instead your children's time with each of you. And what traditions can we set in place so the kids know every year they have, like in our house, I'm a single parent, and when kids are with me on Christmas Eve, and then Santa comes, Dad comes over to see what Santa brought, and then the kids go with Dad for Christmas Day. And so it works out where the kids get to experience at least a couple hours of family time, but then they have respective time with each parent also. And it works really, really well for us, and it's never changed. So many families have, I have them odd years, you have them even years. And then, some kids go with the holidays without seeing both parents. And for some families, that works really well, too. So it really is just understanding your family and navigating it, to the best you can.
You also talk about getting away from things and focusing more on memories.
Right. I think that's so, so important, especially in this day and age. You have, parents sometimes that are in different economic situations, and you see parents try and outspend the other parent, putting this kid in a situation where it's about the gifts instead of the time together. So who's taking time to make cookies with the kids? Who's taking time to, in Colorado we have this lovely Santa train that goes around Georgetown. Who's taking time to go to the parade, right? There's other functions and memories that aren't about the gift at all. And I find that my kids appreciate it so much more.
I would have to think that when you're talking about trying to get through the holiday, so much is based on the personalities involved. What do you say, as you're kind of counseling and mediating, what do you tell people to kind of avoid any kind of pitfalls, anything they really need to think about? Possibly, some of us the mouth is going before the brain's engaged, if you know what I mean.
I absolutely do. The best thing we can do in this situation, both as people in the situation or as the mediator, divorce attorney helping people navigate this, is saying, listen, by October, before Halloween starts, everyone needs to know the December Thanksgiving holiday Hanukkah plans. We're not going to wait until the holidays here. You need to know, and you need to commit, and you need to not stray from those plans. And just by knowing relieves so much stress for people.
The other thing I would have to think is, in this type of situation, do you try and possibly limit the number of people, or do you just say, as in the past, if it's always been a tradition in the family, and perhaps there's a couple of relatives you'd prefer not be there, do you not invite them, or do you just invite them and tolerate them?
I think this is such a personal question for people, and I think each family is different, because I know that there are families that huge family gatherings, like that's the tradition. Those people, come from out of state or get together at one family's house so everyone can be together. And then other families are like, listen, this is about our kids and not everyone else. So on my parenting time, I'm going to be with my kids, and then I'll go to the other family parties when the kids are with the other parent. So it really is what's best for the child. Does the child want the big family party and see all the cousins and aunts and uncles, or does the child just want time with the parent? And I think it's really important for parents to understand and appreciate and try and work around what their children want in this situation. My daughter and I, we have a saying a lot of times. It's like, my choice, your life, right? So how much can I do to make your life easier with my choice about getting divorced?
You bring up a good point. When you talk about realistic expectations, what is acceptable? What is real? At what point do you just think, this is too much?
I think every person's different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, little kids, it's too much to go to 5 different houses in a 3-day holiday period. For older kids, it's too much to stick them in one parent's home and not let them have any of their social life. So, one parent, it's too much to be around the other parent's family, and we need to respect that. But those are all conversations that we should be having in October, very early November. So the expectations and everybody's feelings are heard, and plans are made around those feelings.
Is the mindset you need to have hope for the best, but possibly in the back of your mind prepare for the worst?
Exactly. Yeah, we see that all the time too.
Is that a positive way to approach?
I don't know if it's a positive way, but it's definitely a protective way is how I would phrase it. So you got to protect yourself. You got to protect your kids. Like, anything can happen right now, right? There's a possibility that one parent has week 1 and decides that they're going to spend the week in Mexico, and now all of a sudden, especially now, right, somebody's infected and they don't get back for the second parent's week. There's nothing you can do about it.
And is there a point you have to kind of say to yourself as a parent, I can't control everything? Or do you still try and maintain trying to control the situations?
Absolutely not. I think even when people come to me getting divorced, that's one of the first conversations we have, because so often parents want their kids' schedule to remain the same, or know exactly what's happening in the other parent's house, or how the child's going to dress, or who their friends are going to be. And at some point, even in the divorce process, we're like, listen, you can't control everything. And you especially can't control parenting when it's no longer your parenting time. And again, I think that comes back to when we are as a family as a whole, we can't control that our kids don't want to go to grandma's or don't want to see Uncle Larry, right? Like there's some of that. But as parents, we're like, children, you're going to be part of this family. This is what we're doing. We are going to church today for Christmas Eve. That, is not that I don't want to versus not parenting. But again, just trying to come to a place where everybody, as of October, whatever, knows how the holiday is going to go, and that's what we're going to do.
I'm speaking with attorney and mediator Teddi Ann Berry. Before I let you go, any final thoughts on this topic for my listeners?
Just to have a happy holiday and remember that, these times are all about family and we can do the best. Just do the best that you can. Have grace for yourself and have a happy holiday and peace.
And the same goes to you and your family. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I know you helped a few people at least. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much, Maggie. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. That's Teddi Ann Berry, and the Morning Mix comes back after this.